The rumors about Logan Paul and Mike Tyson's upcoming fight has taken the world by storm, and everyone's wondering who will be the winner of this match, including podcast host Joe Rogan and American rapper Snoop Dogg, who are worried for Logan Paul's safety if he decides to go through with fighting boxing legend Mike Tyson. Continue watching to find out why Joe Rogan and Snoop Dogg said Logan Paul should be terrified of Mike Tyson, as well as other boxing news. First up, Joe Rogan and Snoop Dogg explain why Logan Paul should be terrified of Mike Tyson. Logan Paul, along with his brother Jake Paul, have battled some of the greatest fighters alive, including Floyd, Mayweather, and Tyron Woodley. Now it's been alleged that Logan Paul will be stepping into the ring with the boxing icon Iron Mike Tyson in a fight, and everyone has something to say about it, including Snoop Dogg and Joe Rogan. In an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast host and rapper discussed the fight and why Logan Paul should be terrified of Mike Tyson. According to Joe Rogan, Tyson's ability to get back into outstanding shape since his retirement has been unbelievably remarkable. Being 55 in 2021 is not 55 from like 1998, he continued on to say. It's not the same thing. You watch them hit pads, it's terrifying. Not terrifying because he's 55, it's a terrifying human. Despite Mike Tyson's age, both Rogan and Snoop were awfully impressed with his physicality as well as his calm demeanor. After watching some videos of Tyson working out, the two felt even more anxious for Logan Paul, considering that Iron Mike was regaining a lot of his strength. He's getting it back. This is terrifying, Rogan exclaimed, adding to the fact that Tyson training with an MMA coach has been fascinating. The fact Logan Paul wants to box him? Wow, I can't believe they're really going to do that, he said. I can, Snoop jokingly replied. Although the fight hasn't yet been officially slated, both potential opponents are saying they're open to the idea. Snoop's remark may have been an unofficial announcement. When asked for his prediction for the fight, Snoop said he believes Tyson would win the fight and he would bet big money on him. Rogan agreed, saying, yeah, that kid's going to get hit for sure, adding that Tyson is way more muscle than Floyd Mayweather. It's going to be interesting to see what Logan can do to keep away from him. The only thing on his side is youth. Next, Joe Rogan explains why Jake Paul might never box active UFC fighters. Joe Rogan believes Jake Paul will never step into the ring with a current UFC fighter, doubting that Dana White would ever let it happen. When Jake Paul first stepped into the boxing world, he was focusing on fighting other YouTube and social media stars. However, that changed as he's racked up more and more wins. In his last 3 matches, Jake crushed 2 former UFC fighters, Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley, and he's now gotten to a beef with Dana White, Conor McGregor, as well as others. That's caused plenty of rumors about him potentially fighting current UFC fighters, but Joe Rogan believes that might never happen. The podcast host was talking with Snoop Dogg on his Joe Rogan Experience podcast when Snoop questioned if Joe had a UFC fighter in mind that could handle Jake Paul in the possible future. I don't know. For them to get a free from a UFC contract that they currently have, I don't think Dana White is going to do that, the TV host replied. I don't know. Maybe if they thought they could make a lot of money and there was someone who was a current UFC fighter and they could arrange it, maybe they could make some sort of joint promotion, but I just don't see the UFC doing that. Joe did go on to praise the former Vine star for what he's been able to achieve in the boxing world, saying that he doesn't have to fight a UFC fighter and that he is brilliantly killing it in boxing. Now, Tyson Fury responds to Logan Paul's fight challenge. Ahead of Tommy's round against Jake Paul on December 18th, the heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury has responded to YouTuber Logan Paul's challenge to a fight, and tensions are already ramping up. The date for a fight between Tommy Fury and Jake Paul was finally set for December 18th, after months of going back and forth with challenges over social media. But they aren't the only Fury and Paul duo to knock heads leading up to the match, with Tyson Fury and Logan Paul helping their respective brothers train for the fight. Logan went on to challenge Tyson to a fight of their own. Tyson, after my brother knocks your brother out, I'm coming for you. I swear to God, I'm going to take you down, said Logan Paul. Many believe that the YouTuber was simply trolling, as his brother has similarly done before. Tyson responded to Logan's call out in an interview. Tommy could beat them both on one night. When Fury was told that Logan Paul had challenged him, he answered, Tommy would batter them both. I'm sure when he beats one brother, the other one will want to fight him, and then he can fight him as well. It seems as though the Logan versus Tyson fight is off the table for now, but depending on how the December 18th fight goes, there seems to be a chance that Tommy could step into the ring with Logan. Up next, Mike Tyson will kill Logan Paul, warns former heavyweight boxing champ. Tim Witherspoon, the former heavyweight champion and personal friend of Mike Tyson, warned former Vine and YouTube star turned boxer Logan Paul that he would die if he faced off against Iron Mike. As Jake Paul gets ready for his match with Tommy Fury, there have been speculations that Logan would also be fighting against boxing legend Mike Tyson in February. Many big names such as Joe Rogan and Snoop Dogg have voiced their opinions about the alleged battle, but none are as worrying as Tim Witherspoon's. The former boxing champ explained in an interview about how he believes that the Paul brothers have been conning people and aren't as nice as others think they are. You know what? There is nobody who's in the top 10 current ranking that these brothers are fighting. Those brothers know what they're doing. They're trying to get the top guys on TV who are no longer in their peak or non-boxers, he said. He continued on to say, but majority of the people know that they're not going to win against a top 10 ranked real boxer. Mike Tyson will kill kill him, he added. He's not going to be able to do anything to Mike. Mike's going to kill him. Mike might not even hurt him. Mike might get in there and play with him. So it's not real serious stuff. And the commission allowed this stuff. The former champion exposed the brothers for conning the people, saying that there's no way they could beat top fighters in a real match. Next, Logan Paul responds to the Mike Tyson boxing rumors. In an interview with Michelle Joy Phelps, the host of a boxing news channel Behind the Gloves, Logan Paul expressed his opinion on a potential match with Mike Tyson. Logan Paul shared that he would love to have a boxing match with Tyson. However, fighting with him would be very difficult, not because of the assumed reason. Rather, it was Tyson's age, and that would affect the fight, not a skill level. Logan Paul said, "It's a legacy thing, and I think I'd beat him. I really do. He's just too old." The young boxer said that even though people may laugh at his statement, he really could defeat Mike Tyson in a boxing ring. However, even if he wins, it would still be considered a loss compared to a young Mike Tyson who had greater strength and was in his prime. Mike Tyson is one of the most well-known heavyweight boxers of all time and has earned many titles, including the baddest man on the planet. Paul, who has just come into the boxing scene, expressed that he does not want to beat up someone who is old. He said, "At the same time, if you beat up Mike Tyson, a living legend, the narrative is you beat up an old man." The difficulty in a potential match does not only come from his own belief about defeating Tyson, but also the opinion of the people who will spin a different narrative about his victory. There's no possibility of a future match between Logan Paul and Mike Tyson so far. Any potential match between Paul and Tyson would take place after this, but for now, there's no confirmations to the rumors. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about Joe Rogan and Snoop Dogg's take on Logan Paul and Mike Tyson's upcoming fight, as well as other boxing news. Who do you think will win the fight, Logan Paul or Mike Tyson? Be sure to let us know your thoughts down below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.